a mobile wallet. Now when I say mobile wallet, I don't mean in sense of replacing cash in electronic device, but things like your movie pass clicked on that device. So some has said yes, some are saying no. So from iOS 6 onwards, in 2012, that's 2 years ago, Apple introduced this technology called Passbook, and they introduced a set of APIs called PassKit associated with that, like SDK for developers to integrate with Passbook. So unfortunately, we don't have any apps in Sri Lanka. I don't think there are any apps in Sri Lanka that makes use of Passbook technology. So this is how your passes will essentially look like once you open them up on Passbook. There are like a stack bunch of cards, and you click on one, they'll open up, and then you can see the contents of each pass. I'll show you a demo of how it's working. So Apple actually introduced 5 kinds of passes to use with our devices. They are mainly, the first one is a boarding pass. So here we have an example like from SF to JFK. And if you look at it, it has a QR code, it has flight number, seat, everything that you would want in your boarding pass is in there. And this is not just limited to airlines. You can say if you had a boarding pass for a boat or a train, you can all configure that on the pass. The second one is a coupon. Simple one where we have coupons, and this is a good example where Deepset can make use of this. Third one is event ticket. Fourth one is store card. Again, Deepset can look into seeing how we can use this. And the fourth one is generic type, where I say live membership cards, which basically doesn't fit into the 4 above. So each type of pass has its own unique layout, which has its own information set. So the cool thing about this passes is that it's not dependent on any technology. It's basically let me just show you what the inside of a pass is, and then you will see what I'm talking about. So basically, if you take a look at a pass, this is a pass. This is the inside of a pass. It's basically a JSON file which well-defined objects and arrays that define the layout and structure of the pass. So it's not dependent on any Apple technologies, it's not dependent on server-side technologies, it's not dependent on any web technologies. It's just a simple JSON file which illustrates in sense of code what the pass is going to be like. Now this is an example from a boarding pass from North Pole to Tahiti. As you can see, you can define the fields you want, the seat number, from to meals you are getting. So basically everything you would want is defined through JSON file. So Apple has given us a set of predefined fields that we have to fill in, and according to that, and according to the type of pass that we want to use, will display the type that we want. So let me show you what this pass actually looks like. So as I said, this is a set of passes that I showed you earlier. This is the pass that the airplane from North Pole to Tahiti. So as you can see, the content of this is defined in this. It's not dependent on any technology, anyone can make use of it. And then if you turn over, you can see terms and conditions of the pass. So right now I believe these couple of passes I have here. This is an event which is already expired. This is a sort of store card. This is a coupon for hugs. That's why you can. So all this information is governed by this small document here. So the thing inside the pass, it's very simple. Like I said, it's just a simple JSON file with well-defined fields. So you may wonder where are the images coming from, the look and feel, everything nice things about it. So basically, when you create your pass, when you bundle up your pass, you keep these set of icons, logos, and the images you want, and Apple will take care of the rest. So basically, the image you wanted in the background here, this is what they call the strip. So this is like this is called the strip image, this is called the logo image, and this icon image which you can show up on the home screen. You just give what you want to be shown here with the specific dimensions, and it just show up there. No need for any programming, no need to write in logic. It will just appear. The 2x at 2x is there for retina displays. The same image duplicated for retina display purposes. So passes are very nice. It can store all the information you want, movie tickets and things like that. Another feature of this pass is the pass is intelligent enough to let you know when your pass becomes relevant. That means you can store location information inside the pass, and then say you are going by a store, and then if you are within that geofencing area, it will pop up a message like that on your lock screen saying, hey, you can use this pass at this location. So obviously this eats up into the battery and things like that, but the feature is there if you want to use it. And the cool thing about this is that not only latitude and longitude, you can also pass the altitude as well. So for example, if you are in a mall and it's like 7 stories, and then you are having offer on the 4th floor, you can specify the altitude, and Apple will take care of rest of displaying the pass when you have the relevant altitude and the long length. Apples are also relevant based on date, meaning say you are going for a event or a concert, and if you have the date relevancy field set, it will tell you 2 more weeks to go, 1 more week to go, 3 more days to go, and things like that. And recently, I believe in iOS 7, they introduced support for beacons. The iBeacons that the small HT mode beacons that we have, Apple introduced a feature where you can say if you walk by this beacon and if you detect this particular beacon's identifier, show a message. So if you're walking around a store, a very large mall or something, and you have beacons placed, and then say you have some offer on some say shorts or something or pants or something, and you go past that, and then your phone can vibrate and say, it went past this, look, there's a coupon for this particular item. So that's how the relevance of the pass is done. So as you saw, passes has a sort of QR code up here. So if you have a sort of a device that can read that QR code and talk to a server and get the information about that customer, you can do that easily. And the easiest part of it is that the best part of it is that the developer is not responsible, or the developer does not have to worry about creating this particular QR code. Say for example, this is a serial number of this promotion, and then you want to see if it's valid or not from the server side, and you go to a camera and you keep this there and you detect this QR code and say this is valid or not. So the only thing the developer has to do is the message that you want to encode in this QR, you give the format of the QR code and then the message encoding. That's it. So Apple supports basically 3 types. They support QR codes, PDF 1.7 and aspect codes. So basically, say if you give a serial number of a concert or something, or anything that you want track, you give it and then you give the format that you want to display that QR code in, and Apple will take care of, and Passbook will take care of displaying that QR code on your pass. So engineers or developers don't have to worry about creating that code and writing logic to make that code work. So passes are fine, but how do you get hold of passes? So basically you can get hold of them in 3 ways. You can send an email to your mail client in an iOS device, and they'll pick it up for you, and then once you click on that, it will open up in Passbook. Or you can have a dedicated app which can fetch passes from your server. So for example, if Leapset wanted to use the existing app to extend its features to have parsers, we can have separate tab of parsers and then can talk to the server and get parsers and display them on the passbook itself. And then you can download them through the web browser. So it's important to mention here that the parse is not dependent on an app. That means you do not need to have an Apple app to have a parse. Say for example, say if Leapset didn't have an app and then we want to make use of this passbook feature, we don't have to go and build an app ourselves. We can just use the technology and use it because they are sort of they work independently. They can coexist, but they work independently. Yeah. So, as I said, there will be time to time you need to update your passes. For example, your flight gate changes, your concert got postponed, and you need to update, say, on your wallet store cards, you need to update the remaining balance. So in that case, without any server side, without any client side logic or without any interaction with the server, how do you update a pass that you didn't write any logic for? So how Apple does this is they introduced two fields here: web service URL and authentication token. The web service URL is where passbook will talk to our server on behalf of the pass and get the updated information. It will basically append the URL with a few more parameters and then call our API and get that information. So basically, we need to have endpoints on our server that conforms to the Apple REST specification, and we can just get the updates. Let me show you what I mean. So when a pass is added to your passbook, the first thing that they do is the pass has to be listed on our site. So whenever you install a pass, passbook along with the OS will send a request to our server with this information: the device ID, the pass type or the pass number, and push notification token on the header. So all that is handled by the passbook application. So basically what they have done is, this is our web service URL up to this point. That's defined here. And then append the rest and call our service. So basically they have about, if I'm mistaken, 4 APIs that we need to maintain on our servers, and they take care of the rest. So basically once we get all this information, when a pass is registered, we can store the push notification token, the authentication token, things like that. We can store on our server side. So the good thing about this is that since we have the push notification token, whenever a pass is updated, we can directly send a push notification, and passbook will call our server to get the updated pass. So what happens when you request for an updated pass is that the same URL, the passbook application will call the same URL with a GET request with these parameters, and it sends the authentication token and this modified things header. So basically what happens is, whenever a pass requests for an update, the server has to recompile, not compile per se, but remake the pass and then send it back to the server with any updated information. So for example, if Leapset were to implement passbook to have store value cards, what would happen is the user would download a pass from one of our servers, and then whenever he or she uses the value on that pass, our servers will send a push notification to their device, and the device will request the server for an update, and when the update happens, the server needs to rebundle the pass and send it back to the application. it may be, I understand that creating the pass it may be time consuming and resource consuming, so that's why they recommend that we use the if modified things header, and if it's not modified they send a 304 back saying look, it's not modified. So there are some great use cases for the parsers at LeapSet. This is not a new technology, but it's been there for 2 years. We can easily integrate, have coupons with this. Things like store cards, we can easily plug into our existing infrastructure. Even gift cards, you can even do gift cards because you can share your parsers. If you download a pass to your application, for your passbook, you can share your application with other friends. You can email it out to them. So we can make the great use case for giving a gift. And even say, for example, if I want to sign up, I am signed up with LeapSet, I want to give a gift to somebody through the passbook API. So this is how parsers look like once you open a passbook. Give a demonstration how I think would the LeapSet coupon would look like. I created a small pass based on some things in this diagram. So I just created a basic coupon, LeapSet holiday coupon saying 5% off. It's valid for lifetime. Promotion starts on June 11, 2014 with a small QR code. And then on the back, you can also customize things in the back. You can have extra $10 off for online, for information for LeapSet, visit terms and conditions. So you can have all of those configured again in your JSON file. And then say, for example, you can do things like if you have the web service URL set, if you want to manually refresh to a pass, you can do things like pull the refresh and it will manually refresh the pass for you. So that's passbook at a very, very high level. Like I said, it's not the newest technology, but it's been around for some time, but I think it's very new to our region, and this is certainly a feature that we can make use of at LeapSet. So just to talk about the Google side of things, Google I believe has a thing called the wallet objects, which you configure through Google checkouts and things like that, and there are a few Android apps which can read this JSON format and behave similarly to how Apple does it, how the passbook does it. So that's it for my presentation. That's a very brief overview of Apple technology, of the passbook and how it works. Any questions?
So the device ID is the one that makes sure this file is not copied to another device. Make use of it. When you communicate with the API server.
When you communicate with the API server, for the it will send the device token, as well as we can specify this parameter here. Authentication token. This is something that we generate and give to the pass. So we can say this pass is valid.
So if you simply copy this, it won't work on the
It will work, but then we can put a restriction on the server side saying send a 401 saying you can't update the pass. So authentication token, you can bind the authentication to the device token. Saying okay, this passes authentication token will only work with this device token.
Google Wallet came before pass. That was the first
Google
concept.
Google Wallet before.
Yes, Google Wallet was the first original concept. Then this is the
Any more questions? Okay then, thank you very much. If you want, I have a couple of passes on my phone. I have the LeapSet holiday coupon as well in here. If you want, you can try it out after the presentation. Okay then, thank you very much.